Shawn right here from MuscularDevelopment.com on day 3 with Sergio Oliva Jr. We're here at the Mecca of Bodybuilding in Gold's Gym Venice, where the names like Arnold and Franco, and of course your father, the late Sergio Oliva Sr., synonymously tied to the Iron Game. But as you march your way in year 2 after winning the overall NPC National Championships, you just finished this workout, which we're going to get to. Looming ever so closely, we're one more day to heading to New York. As a matter of fact, you're going to go in a little bit early. Give me a little reasoning why that is. Why are you going to the competition in advance where some guys will be flying in maybe the day before?
Well, one, I've never been before, and I definitely want to check out, the Mecca, Bev's gym. So that's worth it alone, the trip going early. But my body, I don't travel well. Like we talked about before, I tend to hold a lot of water, and I want to go and get settled. And man, I believe that a big part of bodybuilding that you really can't put a science into is a lot of the hormones and the cortisol levels and everything that goes into it when you're nervous and you're running behind and you're rushing. And if I could just go there and relax and kind of get in my own zone, my body will settle and it should tighten up like it usually does. Well,
you're in a place where your body does settle. We're in the world famous Gold's Gym where legends were born and made. I used to spend some days back in the day. My first trip out here was in 1983, and by the time I got into the late 80s, you had Mike Christian and Rich Gaspari and Lee Haney and all the guys. You're in your comfort zone. You're going through your workout now. As you are in the gym, is it a happy place for you to be because you don't have the worries of the day in front of you, and you're actually working through the workout and you're able to channel that energy into focusing on the New York Pro? Tell me what's happening when you're in this gym.
Man, to tell you the truth, when I first moved out here, I thought there was going to be just spewing of motivation and remembering, what this sport entails. But unfortunately, when I moved here, I realized real quick that's not what this Mecca has anymore. So as a motivation level, besides past the pictures on the wall, there really isn't any, and but that's fine. I mean, I didn't have any of that motivation in Chicago, and I did pretty well. If I can just zone in on my own focus and kind of just be really calm, that's the best way I can do things. So of course, sleeping in my own bed, and being able to just walk to the gym and stuff like that, it makes it a lot easier. But yeah, I mean, it's been ever since Roden left this gym, there really hasn't been anything in this gym that's been making me really excited or really lighting a fire underneath me to kind of get going.
Well, let's put some perspective. I mean, Dorian Yates trained over in England. We know Franco Colombo comes from Italy and Arnold from Austria. It's not necessarily the gym that makes the athlete. The athlete uses the tools that are available and they become who they become. However, this was the hotbed. Back in the late 80s and early 90s, we had the who's who of bodybuilding that were in the pages of Muscle and Fitness and Flex and, of course, Muscular Development. And so you coming into the gym, you made the move out here. What initially making the move was for what reasons to come to this gym?
It's like we said before, is that I'm in this sport to go all the way. I'm not to win small shows, so being in a small area where I'm kind of the best, it doesn't benefit me. Though I'm just different. I fuel off of doubt, and when people doubt me and people say I can't do stuff, that's when I do better. And really just even seeing Dexter train, even if I'm not training with him, just watching him or seeing Shawn train, it just does something to me that I just can't explain. And yeah, you can name cases in this sport left and right, the Dorians and all the people that train by themselves, Jay trained by himself, but everyone's different. I'm not those people. I can't be in the basement by myself and train. I like to see people better than me. I like to be reminded on a daily basis of what really this sport is. And it's not the local gym rat. It's these myths that are walking around that look like monsters. And I don't want to step on stage and have that shock. You already have that shock naturally anyway, but I don't want to have any extra shock of, oh my God, that's really what they look like? Where if I saw them on a daily basis, I wouldn't have to worry about that. And that's just how I do things.
So do you think now, headed to New York, where New York is kind of like the new Mecca of bodybuilding in terms of having some very good quality bodybuilders, and Victor Martinez and John De La Rosa and Akam Williams, a lot of guys are coming out of there, Juan Morel. Now you're going to go step into that domain. Is that going to be something when you hit that gym where you'll get that extra burst of desire heading into New York that final week?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I've never done it, but just from what I get from watching the videos, I can't even imagine how it would be, firsthand seeing him in real life. And like I said the other day, I'm such a huge historian of the sport. I feel like almost the air in Bev's gym would almost fuel me, and just being in that area and all the videos I've watched from back in the day, even just in this gym, there's not a lot of pro bodybuilders in here, but I see, corners of the gym or just the green wall, and it's like, man, I remember when so-and-so was training there, and it really fuels me up that it's just not anything that any kind of caffeine or stimulant can ever do. So going out there, I know that I'm going to get a whole new revamp, and I'm hoping that the timing's going to be perfect. Right when I'm cutting water and I'm really feeling the worst I ever have, boom, I'm going to be set in that kind of atmosphere where it's either, put up or shut up.
So are you the type of bodybuilder that would go home and take a measuring tape to his arms or count your calories and weigh your grams of protein? How meticulous are you when you're outside the gym? Because what happens outside the gym transpires into what you do in the gym.
A little bit of both. So, and the science of the food and what I'm eating and what it does to my body, absolutely. Because like I said, I'm in this for the long haul. So I want to know when I eat this far out, this is what happens to my body. But no, I've never measured my arms in my entire life. I've never measured any of my body parts. I had to get fitted for a suit the other day, and I had no idea what my measurements are. It doesn't matter to me. I've never seen a show where I was watching a competition and I was like, man, that guy should win because his arms are bigger. I've never said that.
What fuels you when you're training? I know for me, training back in the day here at this gym, I saw the pictures on the wall, and I also saw my competitors. So that was one area that fueled me. Those guys are gone. Like you said, Shawn, Dexter, a couple of holdovers from here to there. But in between sets, what's going through your mind in terms of what it is you're actually doing here? Are you thinking about the next set? Are you thinking a longer vision of what this workout's going to mean in the grand scheme of your preparation?
I think about how much I've already put into this, and then I think about all the people that believe in me and how much they've invested in me, and that's usually how I knock out those extra reps. And I think about how when you're on stage, nothing hurts more than losing, nothing. So whatever that extra rep is and it's hurting, I kind of try and envision myself on stage being called second or worse, and that feeling, it immediately outweighs any kind of pain I'm putting myself in the gym. But you're right, man. It's not a coincidence that the 90s bodybuilders was a whole nother level of competition, because you walk around and you see your competition on a daily basis, and then you're stepping on stage and you already, you knew what they looked like and you knew what they, how they trained. Where now, exactly, I'm going to come all the way from the West Coast to see guys on the other side of the country. It's just different, and I really wish it could be like that back in the day. There was a different level of competition, but there also was another level of camaraderie that it just doesn't exist in the sport anymore.
Well, when you're in here training, what body part are you excited to come into the gym and train? What do you look forward to training?
Man, that's a good question. See, it's interesting because I really want to work on the body parts that I'm slagging in, because I want to bring those up. But those are the ones that hurt the most, so by no means am I excited to do those areas. So, man, I really couldn't answer that question, because I feel like if there's something that I'm really happy about training, it probably means that I really need to be really focusing on that area.
So what's the exercise you least look forward to training? I know for me, when I used to train, it's like deadlifts were the last thing I did, because they were the hardest thing for me to look forward to. They sapped me of my energy, and when I was done with deadlifts, I was done training. So I didn't particularly look forward to doing that exercise.
Yeah, I mean, each body part has that main mass exercise where exactly you got to time it, where you're either doing it right at the end or in the beginning when you have tons of energy. I mean, I can name an exercise for every body part, but the one where, because I'm doing it 2-3 times a week, it's the hamstring glute exercises, and it's just grueling. You don't get to see them in the mirror. It's the really, it's like the biggest body part on stage that's getting judged, that kind of wasn't really back in the day. And I feel like judges now want to see people work on things that nobody wants to train. And everyone does chests and arms, and coming in and doing glute kicks and hip thrusts and stuff like that, those suck. Nobody wants to do those.
Tell me what you think. What's your thoughts on those waist, the girdle things that the girls are wearing and the men's physique are wearing? I think I saw a picture of Rolly Winkler or Big Ramy wearing one of those at one time. What is your take on the whole gut factor in the bodybuilding? Why are we seeing that? And what do you think about the girdle that is out there?
Well, see, I actually wear one, but I wear one for different reasons. I wear one so it teaches me how to breathe through my diaphragm and not my stomach on stage, because when I tend to get tired, you gasp for air through your stomach, and that looks really bad on stage. Why these guys are wearing it in Kuwait and stuff like that, I think their guts just got so out of control that I think when you're sitting and you're relaxed, you tend to forget that that's a muscle too. So when those bars are jabbing you in your stomach, you tend to fix your posture a little bit. And also, I think it stops them from overeating too, because when you have that thing on, there's no way you binging eating with that thing on. But
it's kind of like a reminder.
Right.
So outside of that, how much time do you put into your posing? I was critical on one of your guest poses because it looked like to me you were running through it, and I'm not sure if that was because maybe you felt like I don't want them to get a good look at me, or maybe because I'm not in the kind of shape I want to be in, or maybe because it's just a guest posing and no one's watching. But when I came up, we didn't have social media to go run to and see who was doing what. But we all made sure that we had some type of a routine. How important for you is the posing aspect? Because it doesn't seem like there's a lot of great examples out there, whereas I came up behind Bob Paris and Samir Banu and Muhammad McAway and Vince Taylor and guys that actually really put their time and effort into posing.
Well, with the example that you're bringing up, yeah, that's when I was going through a severe depression, and I signed up for guest postings, and I didn't want to be the pro that doesn't show up. So yeah, absolutely, I didn't want to be seen by anyone, let alone in posing trunks. So yeah, of course, I was trying to get that posing routine over with. I was very embarrassed and very ashamed of myself during that. So for that example, yes. But with my routine, absolutely, no one can look at my routines and tell me that I'm not hitting old school poses. And I'm really excited to now have more time on the pro stage, because I want to hit so many different nice classical poses, and I'm so worried about trying to bring back actual routines that matter, and not walking from one side of the stage hitting a most muscular, then walking to the other side hitting a different most muscular. But when you have 60 seconds, or sometimes in the NPC they tell you last second you have 45 seconds, you're trying to rush and get those poses, and sometimes it's a little bit fast. So I'm actually really excited for this routine, where I have plenty of time where I can take as much time as I need on stage. But my routine, absolutely, I practice it all the time.
Are you a strong bodybuilder? When you come in here, are you throwing some serious weight around? Or are you a structured bodybuilder who's using these as tools to build, sculpt, and shape your muscles?
Both. I feel certain areas, like my legs, I for sure train really heavy. But then that's the other part of bodybuilding, like I was saying the other day, is learning how, I don't even know how these guys did it back in the day, like my dad, where you could have such a huge back, but to do exercises that make that back really thick and wide, it does tend to sometimes distend your stomach. So it's hit or miss with some of them. Sometimes I want to deadlift really heavy, and I can, but that does distend your stomach a lot. So I hate answering things where you're just saying both every time, but yeah, I mean, some exercises, yes, I definitely am squeezing. I'm going a lot lighter. I'm trying to use mind to muscle connection. But some other things where, yeah, I need to put such a toll on the muscle that the only thing that it can do is grow.